Welcome back to the Wheel Talk podcast. I am your guest host for a few days, Loren Rowney, and I am joined by a couple of my favourite Aussies. This is going to be an Aussie podcast this week. Georgie Howe.
Yeah, Matt and I were looking fantastic, aren't we? Definitely not straight off the plane after 30 hours of travel. But yeah, really happy to be here on the ground in Vannes for the Grand Depart of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift.
And joined by the dulcet tones, is that what Abby always says, of the lovely Matt Neef.
Hello. I probably don't sound lovely today. I'm very tired. As Georgie said, it's been a bit of a whirlwind getting here, but we're underway and yeah, very much looking forward to the next 9 days of racing.
And those 9 days, yeah, we're finally here, the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. It is the day before the Grand Depart here in Bretagne. And yeah, we're on the ground. Why don't we set the scene, actually? Georgie, do you want to tell us a little bit about where we are and what we've been doing, actually, the past few hours? Because there's a bit of nervous energy going about.
We start with the start of the day when you dropped me on a run with Gracie Elvin. But yes, listeners, Georgie did put on running shoes and go running, which is unlike me. But yeah, we're in the beautiful city of Vannes. We've walked through the old town. It is a lovely scenescape. And then arrived here at the Chorus of Vannes to go through to the... to go into the mix zone as the riders do all their photos, all their interviews with the press. And as I ran into Kate Verino, so Director of Women's Strategy at Zwift, and she walked in and first thing she said is like, wow, this just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. And I have to attest to that, having done the race in 2023 and then coming in here in 2025. It is a massive event. All the press is here from all over the world, and all the riders competing. And it was, you could definitely feel the nerves. Like, a lot of riders are appearing relaxed. It was, but you could see as soon as there was an outlet for some kind of energy, they jumped on it, as we saw when we were having a chat with Cecilie.
Yeah, exactly. I think, it's the Grand Depart tomorrow. It's a later start, so this afternoon it felt like for us, I mean, we were doing a lot of work here, talking to a lot of riders, teams, team managers, and getting a bit of a vibe of what's been going on. I think I said to Georgie, if we talked about contenders and what would happen here 6 weeks ago, I think some of the top contenders are still the top contenders, but I think there's probably a little bit of a change in who could have done well, but due to whatever situation, illness, injury, it's changed. And actually that's what this podcast is about, is we're going to dive a little bit into who the contenders are here for the overall win, but then we might get into a little bit of a discussion about who we think are really going to be the stage hunters, because obviously not every team can come here and win the Tour de France Femmes. And we've heard it from team managers and directors that, if you're not winning a stage or getting a podium on a GC or a jersey, then you're not really getting much from this. Yeah,
I was chatting with two directors before, and they and in fact a lot of riders, when asked of team strategies, more often than not, the strategy is stage hunting, because these directors are saying unless you're on the podium of general classification, which to them feels like it's sewn up, really the only other option is a stage win, because also it is an objective measurement, so you can walk away from the Tour de France Femmes and say we won a stage, and that's a very clear and precise goal. So a lot of teams are going for that, and I actually think it will make for some really exciting racing. I was saying to Loren earlier, I don't think we would have seen this strategy so openly stated in years past, because teams have been a bit scared about just hunting for stages when the general classification has been something that everyone should be aiming for. But now it's great that we have depth and understanding of the sport and how women's cycling specifically operates compared to the men's, we're just here to hunt for stage wins. We're going to be opportunistic, we're going to be brave, and we're going to throw 7 riders at trying to win a stage.
Is it a little bit defeatist, the attitude of the GC is already wrapped up, let's go for stages? Like, I know, finishing at 4th or 5th isn't as good as getting on the podium or obviously winning the race overall, but I wonder if some of those teams that do have a rider that could finish in the top 5, where they should still be going for GC, and maybe they are still going for GC, they're just not talking about that as much.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We had some discussions with riders who were saying, oh yeah, like going for GC, but really just want to win a stage. Or the converse is that was also true. It's like trying to win a stage, but it'd be nice to get up on GC as well.
Yeah, I think that's almost a bit of a good segue to my point earlier about how we had some GC contenders that we've been talking about all year, but it's just come out that Marlen Reusser has been sick. She was in fact a little bit sick at the end of the Giro, and why we didn't quite see that same pop from her that we'd seen in the races leading up to that. Lotte Kopecky is another one who came out and said that she wanted to win this race, but has unfortunately not had the season and lead up to the Tour de France that she'd hoped for. The Giro she had to pull out of, and so she's come out and said that she wants to stage hunt now. So yeah, I think for movie start stage hunting, Liane Lippert, I really think can do something special here with Marlen Reusser having the pressure taken off her. But for SD Worx Pro Time, why don't we start there? We're here to talk about contenders. So
yeah, the SD Worx Pro Time press release in the middle of the week about their plans for the race was really interesting. That they very clearly said, and this is the quote, the team has abandoned its original plan to go for the general classification with Kopecky as its sole leader. The wording is quite strong, abandoned its original plan. I like that. But then also later in the release, they're saying maybe there are still opportunities to compete for the general classification. If so, we will go for it. So they're kind of having it both ways a little bit. And I'm interested to see how that plays out because, you know, in the past, Kopecky has not gone for GC and still found herself up there. So I think they'll be taking the approach of, yeah, let's go for stages. But if she's in yellow after stage one, which she could well be, then and she's still there later in the week, then who knows? Like, we just don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I think I was pretty happy to read this press release come out because the pressure is off now. I'm sure Lotto's putting it still on herself internally, and we know these opening stages are good for her. Lotte Kopecky in good form and good shape is like a 5-star rider for the coming 2 stages. So there is team support around her for the opening stages, which is really great. There's been a lot of support around Wiebes this year. Lotte has been an integral part in almost every win, I think, for Wiebes this year. So it's good to see the team rallying around her, and I think for her to take a yellow jersey on the first stage or in these opening stages would be a huge win for the team.
Yeah, in the press conference, Lorena Wiebes was asked how she felt about being a favourite for stage one, and she just laughed and said, I'm not a favourite for stage one. This stage is much better for Kopecky, which, yeah, I think that's a fair call given that pretty steep ramp towards the end of the stage. Yeah, I mean, they've just got options everywhere, don't they? They've got options for every single stage. They've got Wiebes, obviously, for the flat ones, Kopecky, you know, they've got Van der Breggen for later on and just amazing rollers as well. Like, I think we're going to be talking about them a lot throughout the next 9 days, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think the number one team that I think can challenge the reign of SD Worx at a race like the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, I mean, the obvious would be FDJ, but I actually think it's Visma Lisa bike with Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, and that was actually the bet of Iris Slappendel, who we had the joy of talking to, Loren and I had the joy of talking to earlier, so let's hear from Iris. All right, Iris Slappendel, give us your picks for the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift 2025.
Okay, I think the winner is going to be Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. And I'll tell you why. And because I know she's an outsider, but I raced with her more than 10 years ago. She was my teammate. She got second in the Giro behind Mariana, our other teammate. And she said to me, Iris, it's okay because I have so many opportunities to win a GC still. And, you know, things went different, her career. And this is, I think, her first opportunity really back. Yeah. And I think if she has a goal in mind, she can do it. So, I put my money on it's all or nothing, but I put my money on PFB.
And for the sprinters, so we have a few sprint stages. Fast people, who you got?
Yes, of course, Wiebes. We'll have to think about Wiebes. I hope Cole is going to be back. But I think we also have some tricky stages where we'll see people like maybe Kim Lecour, Ruek, Dijgert, Balsamo, of course, Marianne Vos, my pick for the first stage. Okay. So yeah, I think it's an interesting mix of fast riders here.
And do you think we're going to see like a similar sort of time difference? I mean, I know it was 4 seconds last year, but do you reckon it's going to be really close again?
I mean, we have some so hard stages, like especially the Col de Madeleine is going to be so hard. So I really don't know if it's going to be so tight, but I think the contenders, that group of riders that's racing for GC is going to be... It's going to be more interesting than ever. It's not just 1 or 2 riders. I can pick 5 riders to win the GC. And I think Vollering, yes, of course, she's the out-and-out favorite. But I think the competition is really interesting here. So
you briefly mentioned Kim Lacourt. Do we think she could be a contender?
I think so, yes. Yeah, I think she could be a contender.
Well, there you have it, folks. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's some really good points there from Iris, and she was talking about how she goes way back with Pauline in the early days when she was a young 21-year-old. I think she was 21 when she got a podium at the Giro to Marianne Vos, and then had that incredible season the next season where she took 3 world championships, stepped away and has come back. And so on the topic of Visma Lisa bike, it's very clear that the whole goal is just around Pauline and that GC ambition. So we've heard a few, not rumours, but it's come from a few sources that a lot of people are picking Pauline for the win, and it's not just Iris.
No, it's not. Again, the directors I was speaking to earlier have said they've never seen Pauline in this kind of form. She is, I won't talk about a rider's body on this podcast, but she is apparently in flying form, it's going to be really interesting to see how she can go against the likes of Demi, against the likes of Elisa in this race, because we really haven't seen her since the Ardennes.
Yeah, I was just going to say we haven't seen her race since the Welter, is it? I think was her last race. She pulled out with an ankle injury or something like that. It was an infection she had. Yeah, I mean, the biggest question I have about her is just we haven't seen her race, so we don't know. And we can put a lot of stock in what people are saying about the shape she's in and all that, her condition and all that. But I think it's going to be fascinating to see how she goes out on the road. Yeah,
that's a really good point, Matt. And I think that's, for some people, that'd be a red flag. But I think Pauline has been in the sport a really long time, and with mountain biking, they don't race that much. So I think she's probably someone who, I don't know Pauline, but I would say she's probably someone who likes to do those big training blocks. And then I would see that the focus for them is like she's going to ride into this race, keep her safe those first stages. I mean, she's good in the bunch, so that will be the goal. Just keep her out of trouble and let the legs start, rolling into it. And then from stage 6 onwards, again, talking with a lot of the DSs and just, gauging how they're feeling about the tour and all the different opinions of where it's really going to kick off. And the common theme is always, the race won't be won in the first few stages, but it can certainly be lost then. The key to that is having a strong team around you. And I think this is a really good point that Cecilie Uttrup Ludwig brought up when we had a little chat with her. So let's hear from Cecilie.
Cecilie Uttrup Ludwig. Who's going to win?
Canyon-SRAM, zondacrypto. Whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, are we talking stages or the GC?
GC, babe.
Cassia, ni med Roma Fini.
Oh, she is as she's walked past.
Yes.
Okay, so Cassia for the GC.
Definitely.
What do you think's going to happen? Where is that battle going to pan out?
Oh my God, it's going to be an insane tour. It's going to be even first stage, 80K, Plumeleg. It's going to be fireworks. And even second stage, it's going to be pam, pam, pam. I'm down rolling. Then a bit in the middle, and then the mountains at the end. And it's just going to be full action, the whole tour.
Mm-hmm. GC starts tomorrow, though?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, you might not be able to win the tour, but you can lose the tour.
That's a good quote. You heard it here first, guys. So, because the roads, like, we've had a look at the roads and the parkour, like, it's not only the actual, like, course, like, up and down, like, the 18-kilometre climbs, 10%. The roads themselves are narrow, potholey. So what are your thoughts on that?
Oof, yeah, it gets critical, being in the front and, like you say, small roads, small descents, like, towns. Yeah. You have to be in the front, but everyone wants to be in the front, so it's a big fight to get there.
And I am sweating like a pig just talking about it. So
Me too.
I think as well, like you're in this luxurious position where Cassia is someone who rides very naturally in the bunch. Other teams there are a lot of GC contenders here this year. I think the most stacked we've seen, right?
Yeah.
So for you guys, like as a team, how do you support in these first couple of stages? Because obviously GC is the goal. You have a really strong team behind her.
Yeah. We have to put her in the front at all times.
Because it really will be critical, particularly as like the bergs hit up, teams take control, crashes is also a big one, because like the first stage of the Tour de France, we both know is fresh legs, particularly tomorrow night.
I know, and it's just a mess. I know, and it's just hectic because everyone wants to be their A game and everyone wants to win the stage. Everyone it's going to be full on.
So, how many Tour de France Femmes is this for you?
This is my 4th.
And what has the evolution been? What have you seen from the first one to now?
I mean, just like women's cycling in general is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and like it's just so stacked with like people who can win.
We had this chat, didn't we? Before,
Yeah,
when it was
like it's insane.
You were 10 in the front,
Yeah.
looking around, and now you look around and there can be 40 there.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen, I don't want to name any names, but we've seen someone try old tactics that worked in the past, and tried the same thing at the Giro, and it didn't make even a dent. So, like, do you think, like, what's that going to mean for the racing?
I guess it also means that not only like it means you need to have a team. Like to put you there, to support you, to give you bottles, to shelter you, like, or even the stages that you think are like it looks flat, like nothing is going to happen. That is always when shit hits the fan.
Look at UAE at the Giro.
Yeah, exactly. So just got to be focused all 9 days and all hours.
All 7 riders on.
Exactly.
And if there was one thing waiting for you at the top of the Col de Madeleine or the end of that stage, what would it be, Sil?
Oh, love. I just want love. When we're finished on that climb, because that's brutal. I just want love and energy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Can you bring the love, Georgie?
I can bring the love, babe. I'll be
please.
there.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Give you a big hug.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I need.
Yeah, I got you, babe. Yeah, nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck for these days.
Thank you.
So yeah, the part about the importance of teams. Let's talk about that. So we talk about main contenders, but the standout teams. Who are the teams that are really going to be able to deliver their GC riders through all the stages? Because we've got quite a mix here. It starts off. We've done the preview podcast. There are a lot of nerves going into tomorrow. Some riders would have preferred a short, sharp prologue, to be honest, just to get it, the nerves out of the system, get the jerseys on the backs of different riders. But tomorrow, has been described to me a couple of times as harder than a Belgian kermesse with hills.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's actually causing a lot of stress to riders, particularly those that aren't great in the bunch. So team, to your point, will be very important tomorrow. And yeah, when we spoke to CLA, obviously Canyon is a phenomenal team. We heard the same thing from Cassia in the press conference, that she has a full faith in her team to keep her safe throughout the race. If we think of other teams that have that good, robust environment around them, I'm thinking Little Trek comes to mind. However, that is a team that is looking for stage wins, but keeping their leaders safe, and they're obviously wanting to keep Neef Fisher Black out of trouble before they hit the mountains. That is a team that I think we can watch for an example of what a good robust team looks like in protecting their leader.
Yeah, speaking of robust, strong teams, and I'm sure Matt will love to weigh in on this, is AG Insurance-Soudal. I mean, I think, chatting with it was with Kim Lacourt, and we're going to throw to her in a moment. She said in 2024 it was phenomenal that they won that stage and they had a great race, but it's not like they weren't a team people looked to. And I think this year what they proved in the Giro, and now coming here with this team, they brought Sarah Gigante along as well to help in the mountains. Kim Lacourt, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think we can hear from Kim, but before we do, I just want to apologise to the readers. When she says that I pushed her around in the bunch, it was all in good fun. It was definitely all in good fun, and I definitely was just doing my job.
I'm pretty sure she said off mic, if she knew what Georgie was like off the bike, she would have just said, "Come on, mate."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. As soon as I open my mouth, the facade is shattered. But yeah, let's hear from Kim LaCourte now and talking about her goals for this tour, but also, more importantly, the culture that they're cultivating at AG Insurance and how they will be the next powerhouse soon. Kim LaCourte, how are you doing?
Yeah, good.
For introduction, my name is Georgie. I work with the Skate Collective.
I know who you
Yeah,
are.
okay, good.
Come on.
Yeah.
You've pushed me around in the bunch many times.
So I just want to chat with you about your journey with AG, the project that you guys are building there. It seems like a really cool place to be. I mean, obviously, like, you've had some phenomenal performances, but the culture that is building at AG seems something really special.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you would know. Coming from far away, you want to feel like home straight away, and that's exactly how I felt with this team. So, yeah, for me, being with them and staying until 2028 has been, a very easy decision.
And congratulations, big signing.
Yeah, really cool, really exciting. I'm, really excited.
Yeah, it's. I think, like, from the outside looking in, one of the things that stands out is the cohesion between all the team. Like, you had, at the Giro, 3 in the top 10 at one stage. Everyone's just doing super well, super happy. Like, for my former teammates, Alex Manley and Ushka Ziegart seem to be doing super happy at that team as well. So I'm really excited to see what you guys can do at this tour. What is the goal for the team?
Yeah, look, I think since last year our team was looked at pretty small. We as you know, we fought our way through the bunch every time.
Sorry about that.
Multiple times. But now I think with the result we're starting to get as a team, I think we may be getting more respect. We're hoping to get a bit more respect in the bunch. And of course, after getting good results, it motivates not only the rider that's getting the result, but the whole team and the staff. So that motivates them to do better. And it showed with Belgian champs, with Justine and Sarah, smashing the Giro and having the girls really fight for top 10 positions and all things like that. So it's going into the tour for sure. We have much more confidence and motivation. We believe in ourselves a bit more all round. But we've been quite open with saying we're going for GC with me, but at the same time we're aiming for a stage win, and then whatever comes above that, then it's a bonus. But the end goal I think is for sure to grab yellow like every team in the bunch. So.
And I mean, like, good vibes go fast, and you guys have plenty of that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how you go this week. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, they're such a fascinating team to watch. I mean, the last few years they've really risen from being an outside team that overperformed, I think, in this race to begin with, to now one of the teams that we're actively looking at, not just, for Kim LaCourte's chances on the GC, but also because of Justine Hikira, who won QOM last year, who won that stage. And of course, as you mentioned, Sarah Gigante coming off those 2 stage wins at the Giro. So they've got a very strong team. They've got great support for LaCourte. I'm very interested to see where LaCourte will be on GC by the time they get to stage 8 on the Col de la Madeleine, and what that means from a selfish Australian point of view. I'd love to see Sarah get her chance to go for a stage win there, but that'll depend on what's happening on GC and what else is happening in the race.
Yeah, and as we heard from Kim, stages are the priority, but cherry on top would be GC. So I think you're right. Let's wait and see what's happening in stage 8, and then they'll play their cards.
FDJ Suez. I mean, I think we're not saving the best to last, but we can't, finish this podcast without really talking about them and a couple of other riders. So, coming off the back of the Giro was probably the most disappointing result for the year in terms of what they expected. Unfortunately, they had riders sick and things just didn't go well. It was a real shame for Lebu, because I think that was going to be her opportunity to be leader, and actually the work she's done for Demi and the team this year was just incredible. Like, the form that she's had, the vibe looks good. And then to go to the Giro and not be able to have that chance because of, I think it was illness. So, showing up here, they're very confident. It's very clear that, Demi wants to go for that second Tour de France Femmes win. But this year is a different year, I feel. Yeah,
there's just more top riders spread across more teams, I think. And just the race is harder this year, more stages. There's a lot to it this year to unpack, and there'll be plenty for us to talk about. But it's interesting listening to Demi talking in her press conference just a little bit before, and she seems confident, she seems pretty relaxed, and she was asked about whether last year's result coming so close on Alpe d'Huez has motivated her to go for the win even more so this year. And she was saying it's not really extra motivation, but what she took from the Alpe d'Huez stage was just how much she suffered that day, with a coccyx fracture, we found out later. she said she's never dug so deep as she did that stage to win that stage and to get so close to winning overall. She said that when she's suffering during the race this week, she's going to have that memory and will know that she can push through a lot. And she's obviously a contender, and she's going to be a fascinating one to watch throughout.
And on the flip side of that, I think Cassia would say the same thing about Alpe d'Huez, that she has never suffered more than in her life. She didn't even see her husband running next to her, which is saying a lot. That, like, I feel... I wasn't in the press conference, but I'm curious to hear what Cassia was feeling, because we need to talk about Cassia. You know, she said she wants to win, I think it was at the end of last year, multiple Tour de France's. She's had really great preparation. The vibe in the team is great. I think Canyon-SRAM will do a really good job of supporting her. She is a rider who rides very naturally in the bunch, so that's not something that I think she's super nervous about in these coming days. Of course, crashing, sometimes you can't avoid. It happens at the front of the race. But for her, I think, compared to some other GC contenders, I think she'll get through mentally the first stages a little better before all the big stuff starts happening around stage 6.
Yeah, from what I took away from Cassia is that she was asked about how, like, will she remember the win last year when she's racing this year? And she was very firm in saying, I think after the first few stages, no one will remember last year. So they've both Demi and Cassia have said had the same answer to a question, in the sense that to this question, and saying, like, they want to just stay present, stay in the now, because really that's all that matters. So I think with Cassia we can expect someone who is just focusing on the next day. What is directly in front of me? What do I have to accomplish? I don't think she's putting any pressure on herself to think further ahead than that.
Yeah, and to that point, chatting with Juan Diaz, he was saying that for him, it's really, there will be some smaller gaps in the GC leading up to the Col de Madeleine, but for him, it was really, that's where it would be, done and dusted.
Yeah, minutes at the Col de Madeleine. I think we won't see a 4-second gap like we did last year. I mean, to me, that climb looks bloody heinous. What is it, 9 kilometres at 10%? Do not sign me up. So, I was asked to do a L'Etape, and I was like, no.
They're going up there.
They got the L'Etape. Yeah. They're going, so it's not a climb that I think you can just ride up. I think it's going to be completely decisive. We're going to, 2-3 minutes, I think, will be the finishing margin. Up that climb, I do see Cassia, Demi, Pauline, Elisa battling it out. I'm not sure who else will be there, because it was stage 8, Gigante perhaps, Kim perhaps, but I think we know for sure we will have a quartet heading up that climb, and it's just who can throw the hardest punch.
Yeah, I think that Elisa is the last major contender. I mean, we can talk about Cédrine Cabal, and I think she's really a GC contender, maybe, a stage hunter, and a top 10 GC contender, potentially. But Elisa Longoborghini has never been on the podium of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift.
She's had a very tortured relationship with this race in terms of just luck. So I'm hope if she can have a good run at this race, who knows what could happen.
It almost feels like she's gone a bit under the radar coming into this race, which is a weird thing to say about the woman who just won the Giro, right? But with all the talk about Demi, with all the talk about Cassia, with, Pauline and now Rosa being sick and all this kind of stuff, it feels like it's not that Longoborghini's been forgotten about, but more just like, it's almost like we just expect her to be there in the conversation, but we haven't really talked that much about her. But yeah, I mean, we saw Annemiek van Vleuten do the double back in the first edition, 2022. I don't know. I think she needs to be watched for sure. I think she's an absolute contender, and she is also one that will get through the first 6-7 days of the race very well, because she rides so well on the bunch. She's adept at every sort of terrain. Will not be phased whatever happens. If there's crosswinds, if there's splits, whatever, she'll be there. So she'll be riding amongst it.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot to look forward to tomorrow night. We've got a dinner and a show with the riders heading off at 5:25 in the evening after the men's race. So we'll be there on the ground covering it all. We've got a full day to prepare, looking at bikes, looking at gear, talking to riders, talking to DSs. I personally can't wait for the vibe of a Saturday evening in France. there is in the summer. There's nothing much better.
We should talk quickly about the sprints, or at least the green jersey, because we've talked about Pauline Ferrand-Prévot a bunch, and we know that the team's all in for her on GC, but I think Marianne Vos tomorrow is a real chance. And remember in the first edition of this race, she was so coy about going for the green jersey and refused to say that she was racing for green until she had basically had it locked up. I think she is the big favourite to win green again this year, depending on what Kopecky does, but I think she needs to be watched. And I think that battle could be interesting if Kopecky is up for it. So yes, definitely something to watch. And then also just other riders to watch throughout the race. Like there's so many good riders. We talked about the stage hunting before. So many riders to keep an eye on that aren't going to be going for GC. So like Park Peterson, for example, Noemi Rug, I think, is a really interesting one.
Paulina Royackers is another one. She always slips under the radar. Third last year. I don't know why no one talks about her, but she's definitely someone to watch.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't talk. I mean, we're talking about GC contenders, so I think that's maybe what slipped our mind. But Puck Peterson, of course. I mean, definitely a stage contender. And why aren't we talking more about her tomorrow, actually?
Yeah, it's a very solid pick. I think, and I also had a chat with Shari Bossett. Piece will be coming out later today about her returning to the peloton, and she's someone who, world champion in the Madison, and she's looking to stage 3 and 4, but stage 1, she's saying it looks good for her as well.
So as Georgie mentioned, stage 1 of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, the Grand Depart here in Bretagne, is kicking off tomorrow evening at 5:25, so make sure you tune in for that straight after the men's Tour de France finish, so you can get another kick from cycling. Contenders. This is a podcast about contenders today, but I think we need to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow presents a lot of opportunities for a lot of different riders and different teams. I think if we look at it, it's going to be hectic. It's going to be fast. It will be chaos. The yellow jersey is up for grabs. I mean, for a team coming here who don't have GC contenders, pulling on the yellow jersey tomorrow could be a huge goal. Even if we think about the smaller teams, pulling on the polka dot jersey or pulling on the green jersey, or the white jersey. There's actually a lot of at stake tomorrow for such a short stage, and I think that's why we were feeling so much nervous energy today, because it's going to be a long, drawn-out day tomorrow before they even get to start.
Yeah, I am predicting absolute fireworks. Like the first stage of the Tour de France is always hectic, but I think you throw in the fact that it's 78 kilometres. It's in the evening. It's essentially it's a kermesse. Everyone has raced kermesses. Everyone knows how hectic a kermesse is. Add the fact that it's a Tour de France on top of that. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I think that's the most exciting thing. Yeah,
it presents the opportunity for one of those punchier riders to get up that climb and take the win. It could also possibly be a reduced bunch if it's raced the right way. It could be, Lorena Wiebes was asked about this in her press conference about how she thought it was going to play out. And while she didn't think she was going to be winning the stage, she said there is a chance that maybe even the GC riders decide to have a bit of a crack tomorrow. And maybe the climb's not steep enough, maybe it's not long enough, who knows. But that would be an interesting possibility as well, with that chance to wear yellow. But as you say, Georgie, the fact that it's such a short stage and it is the chance to wear yellow, I think just about anything could happen. We could see a solo rider. Who knows? It's an exciting way to start the race.
Yeah, and I think with women's Grand Tours in general, they're so much shorter than men's racing that they're willing to race the whole tour. Honestly, I haven't followed all of the men's tour this year, so I can't speak to what's really happened. But I would say it is 9 stages. It's the longest Tour de France we have had for the women. But every stage counts and every second counts. And we've seen what UAE ADQ has done before. They look for those opportunities to capitalize on the GC riders that they know aren't so good in the bunch. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see gaps tomorrow in the GC.
No, I think we can really expect the unexpected tomorrow, which is deliciously exciting, and I cannot wait to be on the sidelines and watch it.
All right, picks. We need to do picks for tomorrow. So let's start with Matt Neef, because I know who you're going to pick, but...
Do you? I don't know who I'm going to pick. I think head pick is probably Kopecky, but I don't know maybe Voss. My heart pick would be Noemi Rugg. I'd love to see her win the stage. I think she's got the characteristics for it. I don't know. Let's go Kopecky, I think.
Yeah, now you've swayed me. I think Rugg is my pick. Naomi Rugg. I think she's got the character, the panache to pull off the yellow jersey for stage 1 and 2.
I'm going to go Kim LaCourt.
Of course you are.
No, I think it's not a complete outsider, an outside pick, but yeah, I think I'm just going to throw that in. I could just fairy tale pulling on the yellow jersey for AG.
Would be completely magical.
Insurance-Soudal.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an epic race, but we're keen to bring you on the ground tomorrow.
All right, well, let's wrap up this podcast for today, and we will be back tomorrow with the recap of stage 1, and let's see whose pick was right. But anyway, au revoir.
Make sure you sign up to Escape Collective to hear and read all the exclusive stuff we've got coming out this week, as well as follow us on socials for some fun content.